what's up? Time for a really long video because we are now doing CinemaWins' Star Wars: The Last Jedi video, and this video is 42 minutes long. So we might split this into two parts. I don't know, but yeah, because not only is this going to be a long video, I have a lot of thoughts, which would probably stretch it out even more. But yeah, you probably noticed by now. But if you don't, I do not like this movie, and honestly, when I was rewatching it for these videos, it got a bit worse for me, because, yeah, I just don't like the way they, like, undermine Luke's character. I don't like that. It's the longest Star Wars movie, but it weirdly feels like so little happens. Like, I don't know how that's possible, but so little happens in this, and it's kind of weird, too, because then you go to Episode 9, the only things you really need to know is that Luke and Snoke died in between 7 and 9, and that's about it. So it's kind of weird, and I know some people like this movie. There's somebody that in my Discord server who really loves it, and if you like this movie, fair enough. I'm really glad you liked it too, because I wish I liked this movie. I'm telling you, I wish I got some enjoyment out of it, but I just don't. I'm sorry. So yeah. So I have a lot to say about Lee's video, so let's not waste any more time and get this over with. Everything great about Star Wars: The Last Jedi. Here we go.
I started the Force Awakens video with a silly, I'll be objective and not a Star Wars fanboy disclaimer that was intentionally meant to be immediately dismissed.
Oh.
I'm not even going to bother this time. Some of you unsubbed when this hit your inbox. That's fine.
Yeah, I'm sure they did.
Real quick. Before we even get into this, let's take a poll. The Last Jedi. Love it or hate it?
Hate it.
Just vote, pick one. Below that, you'll see a second poll with some different options. This is one of those points that only works if things go my way. But number one, I'm really curious, and number two, I really need to know how many Russian hackers are in my audience for future reference.
I
Just
see.
kidding. I know that there are people who genuinely don't like this movie. But you've clicked on this, so let's get into it.
Yep. Let's get this over with.
Another unique pan down from the heavens Star Wars opening with this high-speed fly through the Resistance ships.
It's pretty cool, yeah.
No feelings were harmed in the making of this scene.
Yeah.
What? You guys don't speak BB-8?
Happy beat.
Yeah, that's true. I didn't even know about that one.
General Hugs.
Hugs.
Took me to my third time to catch that one.
Yeah, why didn't you just blow up the X? Why didn't you just blow up Poe? Why are you talking to him like that? I never understood that. Just shoot him. Just shoot him. And just, yeah, and this whole bit was like, come on, guys.
You and your friends are doomed. We will wipe your filth from the galaxy.
Donald Gleason is amazing and took the comedic tweak to his character in stride while still chewing the freaking scenery in a believable way.
Sure.
Gotta get that out of the way. But I'm gonna be doing that thing that most of the other Last Jedi Defender videos say they won't do because, hey, I'm nothing if not thorough. You either think this is funny or you don't.
I mean, that's fair, but I don't.
Hi, I'm holding for General Hugs.
But don't pretend like goofy slapstick humor, puns, and yo mama caliber comedy hasn't always been a part of Star Wars.
I believe he's tooling with you, sir.
About his mother.
We're all fine here now, thank you. How are you?
I mean, I guess it's fair, but I don't know. I just can't. No, I don't know about the Yo Mama thing. I don't know if that's some. I just can't imagine any other characters in any other of the movies saying that. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
Conversation anyway.
And besides, this is a fun sequence where his stall actually makes sense for whatever he's charging up to fly through there fast enough so the Dreadnought can't shoot him down. Underdog ships doing unexpected things to beat superior ships is kind of a motif.
I mean, yeah.
I like that they're sticking to Poe being the best of the best pilot. It actually plays into how arrogant he is when it comes to honoring command decisions.
Okay.
So this seems like a simple thing, but I gotta hit the easy ones. Why do the bombs fall towards the ship when gravity wouldn't be pulling them towards the ship? That's why. She breaks her back due to the artificial gravity on the ship. So once the bombs leave the ship, there's nothing to slow their momentum downward.
Wait, hold on. Did he say she broke her back right there? I don't think I ever noticed that. Did she? I guess it would explain why she didn't just climb up, but okay. And yeah, I said that in my video too, because I remembered Lee saying that.
Also, self-sacrifice from our first badass good girl in this film, showing no fear in the end.
Sure.
Supremely.
Comeuppance?
Yeah.
Man, that's where Luke got shot in Return of
Oh yeah, that is.
the Jedi. Yikes, that's some continuity. This isn't a jab at fans who idolize lightsabers. This is Luke becoming the...
Oh man, sorry. I still remember my reaction to that in the theater. I just remember seeing that and going, okay, Luke's gonna say something cool. What is he gonna do? And then he just chucks it, and I'm just like, what? was like, my immediate thought was, am I watching like a YouTube parody? Like I can just imagine a YouTube video like having fun by saying, what if he just chucks it behind him? Wouldn't that be stupid? And I can imagine that being a funny YouTube video. The fact that it's actually in a movie, I was just like, I couldn't believe I saw that in the theater. I couldn't believe it. I was like, what are we doing? Just it was so weird. Okay, anyway.
The old hermit of this trilogy. He didn't get it then, he does now. Laser swords do not a Jedi make. Rey extending Anakin's lightsaber to Luke was a clear invitation. Please come save the day with this super special tool akin to Fix-It Felix's hammer. And Luke is letting her know he's not that guy. And for good reason, as we'll get into.
Sure.
First little hint that Luke has cut himself off from the Force. Otherwise, he'd know.
You wonder why I keep a rabbit cur properly manipulated. Can be a sharp tool.
I'm going to stay away from hypothesizing too much about Snoke. Most of what he says can be interpreted in varying ways. I mean, who is he talking about? The context and timing sounds like Hux. He's addressing Kylo, but the actual words, rabid cur, that applies way more to Kylo. A cur is a low or mixed breed dog, which is exactly what Kylo is. And if anyone acts like they have rabies, it's Kylo. So is he talking to Kylo about Kylo? He's also a sharp tool who's been manipulated. My point is that Snoke is a crazy old fool, or he knows and controls more than he leads on. We may not have seen the last of him, or at least the effects of what he set in motion.
And now we know he's like a clone of Palpatine, which I have questions about that, but yeah, we haven't really seen the last of him because we see like clones of him in the next movie, but oh well. And yeah, and the fact that this is I guess this is technically Palpatine's doing. I guess that's a retcon, but I guess it is. So yeah, we'll definitely haven't seen the last of him because he shows up in the next movie. Bum, bum, bum,
Even the Imperial March responds to Vader's name, but not to be outdone, Kylo's theme overtakes it when he smashes his mask, symbolically letting go of his obsession with Vader. His first attempt to kill the past.
Yeah, it's John Williams, still slaps.
Bested by a girl who had never held a lightsaber.
A little lame
yeah.
Let's still complain about that battle.
I still
Even
do.
Snoke forgets he was shot in the abdomen with a bowcaster. Remember those days when the biggest complaint about Star Wars was that Rey was too powerful? Those were the days.
Yeah, I remember.
I'm gonna walk out with a laser sword and face down the whole
Luke.
First Order.
Spoilers. Also, love that he calls it a laser sword like his father when he was a kid, and also because that's his attitude. The legend of Luke.
Like that line too. That just felt far too meta, and just like it's like Ryan Johnson was like scoffing at the fans. Like, guys, did you really expect that? Like, come on. I don't know. Just.
Skywalker, and more importantly, as he'll explain in a bit, the Jedi has been way overblown. This is awful and gross.
Yeah.
And is worth removing a win. But you get the point
Ew.
he's making, right? Rey wants Luke to legend up, and he responds by spilling milk on his chin and going fishing. It's just another way of saying, I'm not the guy you're looking for. I just farm and fish now.
Sure.
But also that's some fishing ingenuity, making Tom Castaway Hanks look like a schlub.
Who are you? Who are you?
Mark may not have loved what they did with Luke.
I know that,
but that
yeah.
did not stop him from bringing his A game. Just the two distinct deliveries of that question.
I mean, I will say this is out of all the Star Wars movies, I would say this is Mark's best performance because, yeah, he didn't like what Ryan decided for Luke, but he still gave it his A game because he's evolved so much more as an actor in the past 30 years.
Why are you here, Rey from nowhere?
The First Order's become unstoppable.
Why are you here?
There were heroes on that mission.
Dead heroes, no leaders.
There's Poe's arc setup. He starts this film right where he left off in The Force Awakens, a hero flying by the seat of his pants. But at this point, the Resistance needs leaders, not heroes.
Sure.
It's been a while since imagery like this hasn't been pretty commonplace, but these space battles are always so well done.
They are,
The
yeah.
explosions being blocked by the shields, the familiar roar of TIE fighters, the tight corridors that the ships fly down. It just never gets old.
Yeah.
Carrie, you're already missed.
Yeah.
This moment between mother and son that's only conveyed on each actor's face. I don't know.
Man, I remember seeing that bit in the trailer, and people were like, "Oh, they're gonna kill off Leia because Carrie died," but nope. Turns out she does this, which is I still don't know how to feel about that because I just don't like the idea that you can do that. But it's also I find it a little plausible, but I don't like that it's possible. But
It's a little goofy, I'll give you that.
Yes.
I also understand the physical limitations of a 60-year-old woman on wires. But really, finally getting to see Leia have force powers that she should have had all along beyond force phone calls is worth a win.
Yes,
And even
that's
if she's
true.
not flying, right? She's just force pulling herself back to the ship.
Oh, and that like redo of Leia's theme in the background. That's actually really good.
And another thing I see missed is that this is an airlock. This door isn't opening to space. Right before force opening this door, I'm sure she force closed that one.
Sure. Oh, I love this scene, actually.
It is nice to see Luke light up a little seeing R2.
Yeah.
Even if for only a second.
This is my favorite. This might be my favorite scene in the whole trilogy, honestly. It's the best scene for R2 in general, because they actually remembered, oh yeah, he's actually a good character. And the way Luke treats him, it's like, yeah, he genuinely sees him as another individual and not just a droid.
So stick to your post.
Oh boy.
The why didn't Holdo just tell Poe complaint is
Valid.
It's not even nitpicky, it's just irritating. Why? Tell me why the leader needs to answer to one pilot. She owes him nothing, especially when they're being impossibly tracked, which would lead any rational person to believe there's a traitor on board. The one thing Holdo knows for sure about Poe is that he was dressed down by Leia, and therefore she may no longer trust him. It's also possible that she didn't even have a fully formed plan at this point.
Okay, I mean, that's fair. She probably didn't, but I don't know. Could she at least tell him, okay, I have a plan, we're just figuring it out? Could she have at least told him that at least? Because, I don't know, I just feel like, yeah, no, I think the whole, why didn't Holo just tell him the plan thing is valid. Okay, fine. I kind of get what they're saying. Poe is arrogant at this point. I mean, he needs to learn a lesson. I get that, but Holdo doesn't even tell him, hey, we have a plan the whole time. Which causes the mutiny to happen. So it's like, you brought that upon yourself, lady.
Hey, that little burn from Kylo's saber in The Force Awakens got stitched up.
Yeah.
Ha! Stone Hut alarm clock.
This is interesting.
This relationship building narrative device is awesome, and I can't believe people didn't like it. Ryan uses film language of shot reverse shot to tell you they're in the same space while only actually showing you they're in the same space the last time they do it. It's a phenomenal way of allowing these two to get to know each other.
You're not doing this. The effort would kill you.
Yeah, let's call it final solution shadowing.
Oh yeah.
You're gonna pay for what you did.
I can't see yours.
So Adam Driver is amazing.
He is,
I love
yeah.
how he's more interested in the logistics of what's happening rather than how or why it's happening. Plays into his cocky attitude.
It's a power that Jedi have that lets them control people and make things float.
Impressive. Every word of what you just said was wrong. Sorry, every word of what you just said was wrong. I'm thinking of the later sentence, but yeah. I have to say that sentence at some point in my CinemaWins videos.
Honesty.
I feel something. You feel it? Yes, I feel it's the Force. Really?
Wow, it must be really strong
Oh,
with
I've
you.
never felt it.
Force lessons.
Sure, yeah.
Violence.
And between it all,
Balance.
that force does not belong to the Jedi.
Man, that's like, haven't I been saying that? I get that your appreciation of this explanation comes down to preference and your own interpretation. This is what I've always thought. There's this misconception that the Jedi are always the good guys, but every movie has given us at least one reason to doubt that, especially the prequels.
Well, I get it. It's open to interpretation and all, but I mean, I disagree with Ryan's interpretation here. The idea that the Force doesn't belong to the Jedi, the Jedi are supposed to be the epitome of good. Like, just because, like, okay, every movie has given us at least one reason to doubt that. That's down to the individual. The Jedi are supposed to be the good guys. That's the way I see it. The Jedi are supposed to be the good guys. They need the Force so they can help protect the galaxy from the Sith. Yes, there are occasional Jedi who like mess up, but that's down to the individual. It's not that the Jedi are inherently bad. That's what I think. So just yeah, and that seems to be what Ryan thinks, because I had to talk to somebody too in one of my comment section that he seems to think that the dark side and the light side are like two halves of the same coin. That's not what it is. That's not what Lucas would say. Like, the light side is what the Force should be, while the dark side is like a sickness on top of it, because the Force is meant to be like teaching morals. And he was like, that guy was telling me, hey, don't do that, think about balance. And I'm thinking, no, the point of the Force is that it was to teach morals. That was Lucas's whole idea. Sorry, you asked me to start a Star Wars tangent, I'll do that. Sorry.
I find this to be only second to Yoda's explanation in Empire.
You went straight to the dark.
I love how his astonishment that she went right to the dark initially gives him reason to be afraid, but ultimately informs his decision to return.
The worst people in the galaxy.
Great.
Guys, it's just a joke. The worst people in the galaxy the first time were the smugglers in Mos Eisley. Now it's the Capitol residents from Hunger Games.
Sure.
I don't really care how terrible they are. I want a convertible yacht, space yacht, and I'll do anything to get it.
There's only one business in the galaxy that'll get you this rich.
War.
I'm not even sure how you could be offended by this in our galaxy since it's so clearly not true. War is profitable, but Bezos, Gates, and Zuckerberg don't sell weapons, man. Ironically, they sell something much worse. Material and immaterial happiness.
Sure. Man, this whole bit, I remember seeing in the theater thinking, this looks way too much like Las Vegas. It looks far too Earth-like and not alien enough. Like, they could have been more creative with that.
Social commentary. Don't at me. I love Amazon. BB-8 is acting lethargic because his belly is filled with gold coins. Say what you will about Canto Bight. I can't help but see it as just an expertly crafted, thorough scene. I like this direct answer to why is Rey good with a lightsaber so quickly. She good with her staff.
The legacy of the Jedi is failure.
It's not true.
At the height of their powers, they allowed Darth Sidious to rise, create the Empire, and wipe them out.
That doesn't mean the Jedi should fall. That was just, yeah, that was a mistake, but that doesn't mean the Jedi were inherently flawed because the Jedi have been around for 1,000 years. You're saying just because of that mistake, they should be gone? Like, I'm sorry, I don't follow that logic, Ryan.
And that's exactly why this is who a lot of us expected Luke to become. He's not even mentioning that the Jedi's teaching of emotion suppressing and fear of anything from the dark side played a big part in his dad becoming Darth Vader. The lighting in this film is astounding. That golden glow on each of their faces.
I can rank you into old man Snug's boudoir.
Benicio del Toro is the man. Just the right amount of creepy mixed with cocky irreverence.
Yeah, sure.
I'm not saying that if these creatures looked more like spiders with reptile skin, the sympathy factor may be lessened, but who's gonna deny horses with floppy bunny ears?
And they're pretty cute, yeah. Oh, that's Mark Hamill.
Drunk alien got his payday. Also sounds like he's related to the Joker.
Yeah, he's voiced with Mark Hamill, yeah. Because I heard he like wanted to try out the mocap thing, so that was cool.
Joker. Well, if nothing else, I guess Rose got to
Put my fist through this whole lousy, beautiful town.
She did,
and
yep.
it's not without some fun first-person shots through the streets. Ha! Even the entry ramps are spiral staircases in this town.
Why did you hate your father? Do you have something, a cowl or something you could put on?
Meme win. But come on, Adam Driver's workout routine.
For some reason, that was a meme, and I don't get it. I don't want people like mocking this, and like almost 10 years later, I still don't get what's meme worthy about this. Like Adam Driver's, we're seeing his abs. Like, okay, I don't know. I never understood that.
Being so wide that you're memed isn't a bad thing.
Let the past die. Kill it, if you have to.
Kylo says that, and then Rey immediately goes to the dark cave on the island to get answers about her past. His point is that it doesn't matter where you're from. Just like it doesn't matter where he's from. Choose who you want to be.
Sure.
Beautiful sequence, but I also like that it's basically the same scene in Empire with a different meaning. Luke goes to the dark cave to confront Vader before he's ready, and in addition to probably being really confused, learns that to kill Vader is to kill himself, which makes more sense once we find out Vader is his father. Rey goes to find out who her parents are and is presented with only herself, which is her first hint that she has no one but herself.
That did not age well.
This is the most compelling part of this film. Two people teetering on the edge of the Force, dark and light, neither fully understanding their place in these ancient religions, reaching out to try to find commonality. It's some weird combination of familial, romantic, and I guess Force connection, but also somehow feels so relatable.
Okay, okay, sorry. The way he was explaining it, why they would have feelings for each other, I guess so. I mean, I was watching it and thinking, why do they care about each other this much? Because then they kiss later on, but, you know, okay. Sure.
Picking up where The Force Awakens left off, Ryan did as much practically as he could. Even shots like the hut blowing apart were practical. Regardless of your feelings about who Luke has become, seeing him embrace being the master, fighting with an antenna, and knowing his superiority has to give you some sense of joy.
Sure.
Ooh. First time Luke has used the Force in a physical way in who knows how long, and it happens by instinct. I think this is where Ryan lost a lot of people, and I honestly understand your frustration.
Yeah, because, like, come on. Like, Luke spent so much of Return of the Jedi believing that Vader could be turned, even after all the bad things he's done. And then Ben has a dream, and he's suddenly like, oh, I gotta kill this kid. Like, he hasn't, I know he, like, holds back, but it's like, the fact that he even considers for a minute turning the lightsaber on, and I'm just like, I don't know about that. I just don't know if Luke from the original trilogy would ever do that. I'm sorry, just
Luke should be better than this.
Exactly.
Honestly, that's kind of what this film is about. It's why Luke is the way he is. He's not perfect. Even our heroes have flaws.
Which he already was. Like, that's something I've found weird too. People will say, "Oh, Last Jedi humanized Luke," which makes me think, are you implying that Luke wasn't human before that? Because I don't know, he felt pretty human in the original trilogy to me. I don't know.
Last time he approached the dark side, it was because Vader had threatened Leia, and Luke lashed out in anger, pleasing the Emperor. This time, he responded to his fear of what Ben would become. He knew where it led and wanted to stop it, but immediately regretted it.
This is not going to go the way you think.
that line wasn't a trailer, and little did we know how true that was.
Clairvoyance. Ooh, she once again extends his father's lightsaber to him, asking for his help, and Luke refuses because, like he said, what should he do? Face down the entire First Order? Interesting thing I'm just realizing is that Luke was totally on his way to burn the Jedi text when Rey arrived, which is why he changed right back out of these white robes when she got there. Makes even more sense why he'd throw the lightsaber away. He'd made up his mind about the Jedi already.
Huh.
Yoda.
Oh, Yoda.
Puppet Yoda.
Yeah. And like, apparently Force Ghosts can do this on this planet.
Yoda, always the trickster.
Yes, failure, most of all. The
Greatest teacher. Failure is.
Oh, man. Yoda talking about failure with notes of the piece that played during the X-Wing swamp retrieval after his "there is no try" speech when Luke had failed and given up way back then.
I remember hearing that and thinking, wait a minute, couldn't Luke have learned from the failure of the Jedi and learned from that when he rebuilt the Order? Because I don't know, I feel like this is a lesson he should have already learned by now, but oh well.
Well done.
Okay.
Coward! No, you are not just a coward, you are a traitor.
Dude, Holdo, tell Poe that you have a plan. Oh, fine, whatever. You're afraid of spies. Okay, I kind of get that, but tell them you at least have a plan.
What is it that makes him seem trustworthy? Not to mention, every time he asks, it's in public. So even if she trusts him, she has no clue if she can trust the rest of her bridge crew, especially given that some of them help with Poe's mutiny later.
Vice Admiral Holdo, I am relieving you of your command.
And then he mutinies. Is that when she should have said something?
Yes.
To the mutineer? I hear you, but he was obviously trying to do the right thing. Why in the crap would that be obvious to Holdo? You can't look at stories from only your omniscient perspective. She has no reason to tell him.
No, she should have. Like, I got a comment from Nerd Rage. I think I'll put it on the screen. Like, he talked about how, like, in a military, that would be a bad thing if the person doesn't, like, tell... If the superior doesn't tell people about their plan, that's like, not a good thing. So, yeah, I agree with that.
And how about this? What if she tells him and he doesn't like the plan and then goes off and does something stupid, like, I don't know, sending two people on a half-thought-out mission that ultimately leads to further destruction? Ha! Because R2 looks like a trash can, so you get it. Just like to point out that whether Rey knows it or not, her clothes know the conflict inside her. She was wearing white during her last Force meeting with Kylo.
Okay.
Politeness. Scoundrel with a heart of gold. This is subversion done well. Just because he's an opportunist doesn't mean he's just a straight-up jerk.
And I also can't help but think, why did you trick Rose into thinking you were going to take it earlier? Why couldn't you have just waited to take that thing until you got here? I found that weird.
Know where the nearest escape pods are.
Of course you do.
Ooh, traitor burn.
More interested in protecting the light than she was seeming like a hero.
I'm sure that seems like a third-person humble brag, but think about it. The Light is the last remaining members of the Resistance, so keeping her plan a secret made her look like a coward and a traitor to, well, I'd say some, but really it was just Poe. The hero would have told everyone the plan and risked it getting back to the First Order, who, again, was tracking them in a way they couldn't explain. Fortunately, Poe set up Finn to let this stuttering opportunist tell the First Order the plan.
We ran a decloaking scan, and sure enough, 30 resistance.
What DJ did was just terrible, but that face.
Yeah, fair. I also like that DJ essentially does what Lando did, betraying the good guys, but unlike Lando, he doesn't get a redemption. I kind of like that.
Still that fiery spit of hope.
Compliments.
Kills his true enemy.
Okay,
Oh,
you know I
man.
hate to brag, and I didn't get it exactly right, but I did sort of predict this scene that Kylo had to commit to his feelings in order to trick and defeat Snoke. More importantly, hot dang! Say what you will about some of the expectations of versions, this one is awesome.
No, I remember my mouth dropping in the theater. I was like, whoa! what? They just killed the villain. Like, what? And, well, I think we all cared who Snoke was, because it's like, wait a minute. Because you have to explain, like, who this guy was, because who was he who created the First Order and turned Kylo Ren? Of course we would all want to know who he is or where he came from. And I guess now we know he's a clone of Palpatine, so I guess there's an answer there.
Who cares who Snoke was? Who was the Emperor? Just some powerful Sith.
But at least with the Emperor, we didn't have any context before, so we didn't have questions because we didn't have context before A New Hope. But with this, we have a whole story in between episodes 6 and 7. So of course we would want to know, where did Snoke come from?
And Snoke's still half a powerful Supreme Leader. Also, yup to that shot. Oh man, the way her hand comes up so perfectly timed to the swelling score. Now we've got some Star Wars.
Fair.
I can't say for sure why the Praetorian Guards are still fighting after their leader is dead. I mean, Kylo would have to kill them either way. But this is a super awesome fight.
It's okay,
Framed
yeah.
exquisitely with very little cutting, filled with awesome choreography and teamwork. It's so satisfying to see them fight together after the build-up in this movie.
Yeah, sorry.
After the build-up in
this movie. So I guess this is a weird thing too, because a lot of people have nitpicked this fight to death, like talking about, hey, there's mistakes here and there. Like, I know there's a moment later on where a guard has a knife up to Rey, and then the knife just disappears. That's a problem, no doubt. But I get weirded out when people like slow it down, like, oh, this mistake. And I'm just like, why are you doing that in the first place? How about you just watch the scene as is, at its normal speed, and see what you think of it? Me? Well, I mean, I did notice a few weird choreography moments, but overall, I think this is an alright fight. Like, in this shot, I do feel like they got, like, even watching it at normal speed, you can tell they're a bit overwhelmed with how many people there were, or and like what to do with some of them. But I mean, I do like the setting. I do like some of the fighting they do and some of the pretty violent deaths. I think it's a decently fun fight.
Ingenuity. Hey, finally those cross guards come in handy.
Oh yeah.
Yep. A little reverse grip form that she had trained for earlier.
Oh, cool.
The very thing that probably should have happened.
I remember seeing that. I was like, whoa.
To the original Ben when he handed Luke Anakin's lightsaber. Also this pork.
Rule together and bring a new order to the galaxy.
Don't do this, Ben.
I love her response as if he's reading words written in textbooks, which, since it's been said so many times by so many baddies, it should be. But it's also the first time I genuinely thought our protagonist might actually join our antagonist, because they have a real, actual relationship they've been building through this movie, built on trust and common histories, even though he's from all the bloodlines and she's from none. He actually cares for her, and that's apparent.
You have no place in this story. You come from nothing. You're nothing.
Call this a cop-out. I'm glad Rey's not a Skywalker or a Kenobi or a Jin?
Was there theories that she was Qui-Gon's daughter? Okay. Well, no, I think she should have been a Skywalker, because, I don't know, it's called the Skywalker Saga, episodes 1 through 9. It's like Lucas has said, it's about generations. It's a family soap opera. It's like, you know, prequels are about Anakin, original trilogy are about his son Luke. So the sequel trilogy, having it just be about this random girl, I just find that weird, because it's like, now it's not a family drama. Like, I don't know. I get the idea. I know they're trying to say that you don't have to be related to be special, but I get it, but I just don't think it fits with this saga. But none of this matters anyway, because Rey's a Palpatine now, so she is related to somebody, just not a Skywalker, that's, oh boy.
Is that Qui-Gon's last name? And even if JJ does decide to give Rey a proper bloodline,
he does. Man, he predicted that. Wow.
It doesn't change the fact that she grew up with no one and nothing and had only herself. And just because the expectation subversion was nothing doesn't mean it meant nothing. It's the whole point. She's not from a bloodline. That's why her powers matter.
The Resistance cruiser is preparing to jump to light speed.
It's empty. They're just trying to pull our attention away.
For the record, I think that's the main reason she was able to do it. They could have blown her out of the sky if they didn't think she was just fleeing. The executioners have a black stripe, kind of like a black hood.
Oh, cool.
Burned her hair.
I see that. Oh boy, and then
This is amazing.
Like visually, I will say, yeah, visually, this does look amazing. It is really cool.
The silence, the visual, the destruction, the self-sacrifice.
And that too.
That bullet sound.
It's like it's silent and then boom! Just that was really cool visually, and the way it was executed. Just I don't like that this is a thing. Like why? I think it makes a lot of space battles feel pointless, but you know.
For the ship, BB-8 to the rescue. Reminds me of all the times R2 came to the rescue. Blaster beam just ricochets.
Yep, it
If
does.
you think Phasma again goes out like a sucker, you have to admit that.
Well, she is dead because she doesn't show up again.
Showdown is pretty fun.
The Supreme Leader is dead.
Long live the Supreme Leader.
Badass bad guy. Well, that's one of the prettiest shots in Star Wars.
It is, yeah.
Also, obviously, the Crystal Critters are a wife win. You'd be forgiven if you missed this, because it does happen fast. But the two TIE fighters aren't attacking the base, they're actually shooting at the stolen shuttle. That's why only Rose and Finn make it under the door. That was their goal. The TIE fighters were just trying to destroy them.
I see.
Edgar Wright.
Edgar Wright? Whoa, I didn't know that.
And Gareth Edwards.
Yep, Gareth Edwards on the left there.
Now, this is pod racing? Nah, we've
Sure.
seen these high contrast images since the first trailer, but that doesn't take away from how beautiful it
Yeah,
actually is.
I really love this planet because I love the idea of it. It's salt and under it is red, and the red like signifies blood. That's a really cool idea for a planet, and I really wish it was in a better movie.
The aesthetic of the red underneath the white is wholly unique and stunning. I love the idea that the First Order learned from the Empire's mistakes on Hoth and beefed up the legs of their guerrilla walkers so they can't be harpoon tripped.
Cool.
Triple kill!
Yeah.
Chewie and Rey to the rescue.
Heck
And
yeah.
announced just by a familiar sound and shadow.
That was cool. That like gave me some dopamine there.
No, I'm almost there. Retreat, Finn. That's an order.
At this point, Finn and Poe's arcs cross. Where Poe originally was the hero looking to do the deed no matter the cost, and Finn still didn't care about the resistance, just Rey. Now, Poe is starting to become a leader, and Finn is willing to lay down his life for the resistance. Or, well, because he's
Rebel scum.
Sure.
Saving what we love.
Okay, so first I'm taking a win away because that's what he was trying to do.
Yeah, and especially that was such a weirdly timed.
A win away because
like,
that's what he was trying to do.
Like, why are you
flawed or
like, why are you kissing him while the resistance base is being destroyed? Like, that was such the worst timed kiss I've ever seen in a movie. I swear.
Flying down the throat of that thing was his way of saving what he loved, the people in the base. So her line is sweet, and I get it, but don't accuse Finn of not getting that.
Remove a win, yeah.
More importantly, there's just no reason to think that the slowly melting ship would have any impact on the battering ram that's specifically made to break things.
Yeah, I
Poe
said
knew
that
it,
too.
Rose, the girl who inspected the skim speeders, knew it. The only one that didn't get it was Finn. So she ended up saving him from wasting his life for nothing.
Yeah. And how did Rose get over there so fast?
I'm really
Man, that line was in the trailer for episode 9, and that apparently teased Palpatine coming back.
glad these two got a chance to be together.
Oh, and this is the only time we ever got Mark Hamill and Carrie Fisher in the same room together for the whole sequel trilogy. Like, that is sad. Even though Luke technically isn't here, this is a Force projection, but man, it's so sad. This is the only scene we got of them together as old people, and it is a nice scene. I do like that they played a Luke and Leia theme from Return of the Jedi.
Together on screen again one last time. You really can't create moments like this. Their legacy does it.
The music here is really good. The way it builds and builds.
Few moments, few pieces of music give me the rush and goosebumps that this moment does. The same melody is just repeated with increasing intensity. Everyone stares at Luke as if they're seeing a ghost or a legend, and he plays into the legend so perfectly. When the music finally crescendos, we get a badass good guy. I mean, it's fun to believe he could force block 1,000 laser missiles, but come on, force knowledge isn't invincibility. What's more important is that he embraced being a legend, but still so awesome either way.
Bring me down to him.
Don't get distracted. I'll go. Right away, sir.
That's the funniest scene in the movie, actually. That lightsaber should have been green.
He's doing this for a reason. He's stalling so we can escape.
Of course, the guy who did this would realize that's what Luke is doing.
Okay.
Has an urgent message for him about his mother.
No, we are the spark that'll light the fire that'll burn the First Order down.
And then Poe fulfills his leadership arc, and Leia even acknowledges it.
Follow him.
Sure.
Luke's foot doesn't actually interact with the salt when Kylo's does.
Would have been really awesome if Luke was actually here.
Say, oh, but he's just a projection. Yeah, but Kylo's still not making contact.
Yeah, like, I mean, it's like, man, I just remember seeing that thinking, and now we know Luke wasn't actually here. It's like, how cool would it have been to see a Luke and Kylo fight? Like, man, I was waiting for that ever since, for 2 years after Episode 7 came out. I was waiting for a fight between these two, and we never got it. Like, come on.
Resistance is dead. The war is over. And when I kill you, I will have killed the last Jedi.
Amazing. Every word of he's just said was wrong.
More honesty.
And I will not be the last Jedi.
And that's Luke realizing he still had things to learn, even about the Jedi. And that Rey's gray version of being a Jedi
Please don't say Grey Jedi. That's not a thing.
may actually have merit. And even if it's right before he goes, Luke's back.
Sure.
Hugging.
Strike me down in anger and I'll always be with you.
Ooh, a threat that cuts right to your soul. Actually, it's an emotional promise to Kylo that's a twist on Ben Kenobi's threat to Vader. And the deliberate skid of his feet as if drawing the blood he thinks he created with that stroke.
That is cool, yeah.
Badass good guy. In a few minutes, he channels both Obi-Wan and Han, bringing everything full circle. Whereas previous Star Wars films may have struggled with pained yells, let's say Rey and Kylo do not.
Yeah, they don't.
One last moment of staring out at a double sun horizon is a very apropos send-off. But don't worry, this isn't the last we'll see Luke. Probably
Obviously,
obvious, but no one
yeah.
who vanishes into the Force is ever gone forever.
Like, why did Luke have to die right here? Like, at least one more movie. Like, man, I just, like, I know even Colin Trevorrow, when he was in charge of Episode 9, when he was writing, he, like, asked Ryan, hey, can you not kill Luke? I want to have him in Episode 9. But Ryan was like, no, I'm killing Luke. And I'm just like, come on, at least one more movie so we can see him being cool. Like, please, at least we could have gotten one more movie with him being the cool Jedi we remembered him as. Like, if you're bringing back Luke Skywalker, do it properly. But no, that's sorry, I'm such a letdown.
I like this little hint that it was more than just Snoke's bridge. More importantly, Rey shuts the door on her past when Kylo so clearly could not.
Okay.
Oh.
Should have been before this.
Right.
Well, now when Finn and Rey end up being brother and sister in the next movie, at least we have love interests for everyone.
Okay.
But it wasn't sadness or pain, it was peace and purpose.
Yeah, he coming back.
Skywalker, Jedi Master.
We got a better storyteller than 3PO, but you get it? He's a legend again. Because
get it.
anyone may be a Jedi.
Sure. I mean, I'm not sure why that was something that needed to... I don't know why Ryan needed to say that anyone can be a Jedi. Why did Ryan need to feel the need to say that, as if the prequels didn't have a bunch of Jedi that did not come from a special bloodline? Like, I don't know. It's like, I get it's a powerful message, but at the same time, that's always been a thing. Like, Star Wars was never trying to say you need to be a part of a bloodline to be a Jedi. It's just weird to me that Ryan thought he was saying something profound, but, like, you weren't, dude.
I've wrestled for, well, almost a year now with how to deal with this movie.
Yeah, no, I remember. He didn't make this video until, like, about a year after the movie came out. It was like, I was thinking, where's the Last Jedi video, Lee?
Truth be told, I started writing this script on December 16th, 2017, and have been adding, editing, deleting, tweaking, rewording, and otherwise just trying to get this right since then. I can't even tell you how many words I've written about this movie. Just kidding, it was a little over 14,000 at its peak. But a lot of that was because something would pop into my head and I'd just add it. I found out that a lot of the same ideas come to me worded slightly differently. A lot. It's under 10,000 now, but still not everyone will be interested in everything I have to say, so I put some timestamps in the description. 20% of you probably gave me a solid thumbs down within the first 5 seconds and left a hateful comment because you think I'm devaluing your opinion as a fan. That's unavoidable. That's not my goal, but I know some of you will still feel that way, so I'll just apologize in advance.
Sure. I mean, I get why people would feel that way.
I'm not arrogant or foolish enough to think I'm going to change anyone's opinion, and by all means, if you're here just hate watching this video, know that you're doing the right thing. I support you. I can let the hate flow through me, and hopefully you get some catharsis out of it.
Oh, thanks, Lee.
I won't even say that you shouldn't hate it. It sucks that you feel Disney, Ryan, and Kathleen all ruined your favorite characters. And as much as controversy breeds views, I'm not here to stoke the fire of that particular war. Even if I don't understand or agree with your issues, you're allowed to have your opinions, and you can feel as betrayed as you do.
It was a cheap move.
What you're not allowed to do is attack other humans over a dumb movie.
Yeah,
Unfortunately,
of
the majority
course.
of you that need to hear that message will never understand, and the rest of us decent humans living in civilized society will never understand how dumb you idiots actually are.
Yes, I agree with him there. Like, yeah, don't hate people don't argue like so mad over a dumb movie. Let's not do that, guys. Let's all be civil here. Again, some people will comment and say they like this movie. Again, that's fine. And I'm glad you like it. I'm not gonna like say you're wrong, but I just don't. I have a very strong against feelings for this. You know what I'm saying? Sorry, I word things weirdly sometimes.
If you followed me long enough, you've probably seen me engage with some haters. Because, hey, why not?
I have too.
I'd say 85% of the time, we at least end the conversation amicably, no matter how angry or how many expletives they call me at the beginning. Most people are just, like, not terrible. Occasionally, I run across some gems. One commenter's excuse was, this is the internet. Is this your first day on the internet? This is how people are on the internet.
They are,
As if
yeah.
the internet isn't just a collection of information and people interacting with each other however they choose. Every comment you type on this video is the internet. You are currently shaping the internet. So make it what you want. You want it to continue being a cesspool of hate and idiocracy? Make that your legacy, I guess.
Boy, I know some people who will be that way. I'm not going to name any of them.
Or you could just be not terrible.
I
To the
choose
same
not to
degree,
be.
I've witnessed so many threads under my videos turn from cursing and hatred and name-calling and belittling to a polite conversation just because one person offered the tiniest apology and acknowledgement that the other person is indeed another person. Most people are decent. Test it out for yourself.
Yeah.
This comment section will be a great place to do so.
Yeah.
So, hate The Last Jedi and hate me. My only advice would be, well, it's my channel's tagline. Liking things is more fun than not.
No, I agree with that.
And I'll take it a step further. Choosing to like things can also be more fun. As in, yeah, this movie happened. As of right now, Rey's parents are nobody, Snoke is nobody, and we could have been hyperspeed ramming ships for like ever. I know some of you want this movie to not have happened, but it's in there now, man. It's canon.
I mean, yeah, I just accept that it is canon, but I just, in my head, it's not, but I know objectively speaking it is, so yeah.
I'm not the first to bring up that Empire received some scathing reviews when it was released in 1980.
It did,
but I don't
yeah.
hear many people talking about why. And I think the main reason was that the trilogy was not complete. The same thing will happen with The Last Jedi.
Nah, not really. Like, Episode 9 has come out. It's been a few years now. It still get hate, so not really.
Once we've moved on to another trilogy, the kids watching these movies will immediately accept that astral projection, space flying, and telepathic conversations are canon force powers and part of the lore.
That I'm not sure about. I mean, it's been a few years now. I am curious, but I don't think that'll happen. I don't know. I just have a feeling even some people who aren't experiencing these movies coming out in theaters, who are watching these movies like 10 years from now, I feel like they would be smart enough to think maybe that's weird, or what are you doing with this particular moment? I don't know. Just it's like I think that's coming from experience with me. When I watched the Terminator movies, like I binged all of them a few years ago, and I remembered thinking the later movies were bad, and I did not get the experience of having some of them ingrained into my head and seeing them in theaters. Whereas I just saw the later ones as bad because I didn't think they did a good job. So that's just what I think. But anyway.
As MatPat pointed out, while theories may have created the fan response, someone watching this movie for the first time, even in say 5 years, won't have read any theories and won't be invested in the plot threads that don't actually occur.
Right.
What happens, happens. 13-year-old me didn't scream, "What? Dark side force users don't have lightning power?" I've never seen that before. When the Emperor zapped Luke in the last 10 minutes of the last film, I said, "Whoa, cool." And honestly, I was a little more enthusiastic when Luke force projected himself. Thank goodness not all the rules have been written. Though, I guess technically this one was in a Jedi book somewhere, so... But don't limit the Force. Why would you want to do that? How sad would it be if everything that could happen has already happened?
I mean, I get that, but also... There's some force powers that happen where I'm just thinking, okay, that just kind of undermines a few things. Like, even I'll admit the Phantom Menace has a brief moment where Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan like do a force speed. That is the only time I can think of in the whole saga that's used. And even I can't help but think, why was that power never used again? And Episode 9 has the force healing thing. Again, I can't help but think, why is that not used more often? Because I feel like you do have to be careful with the force to not raise those questions.
So, yeah, I'm going to defend this film. And I may seem a little annoyed at times because the hyperbole around this film is just plain out of control.
It is actually, it is, yes.
Repulsive takes. Every time someone even so much as requests The Last Jedi, there's at least a couple comments telling them how dumb they are. I'm not trying to give these people their 15 seconds so you can look for yourself. I've already said, no one can take the Luke of the original trilogy away from you. People change. This doesn't mean Luke was secretly like this all along. And I'm not trying to be dismissive. These are just some of the immediate thoughts that popped into my head when the outrage began. I don't think anyone foresaw how far the outrage would reach.
I did not.
Yeah. I want to start by saying that for me, this movie is a statement about our heroes. More accurately, how we perceive our heroes. The legend of Luke Skywalker. Outside of the countless books written about Luke between Return of the Jedi and this film, we only have the movies. If you look at those stories and the superhero status that Luke was elevated to in the years between, his current attitude is a direct statement against that. He's just a man. He got some really lucky breaks, was born into a powerful family, and everyone has been looking to him. Well, he said it best.
I think what? I'm gonna walk out with a laser sword and face down the whole First Order?
Both people in universe and out. We elevated him to mythical status. So of course he wants nothing to do with it. Who could live up to that? Who could write him to live up to that? And how could 67-year-old Mark Hamill live up to that? And I'm sorry, but Mark Hamill doesn't get to decide who or what Luke become.
He doesn't, no. I don't know. It's like I'm hearing that and I'm thinking, I get it, but at the same time, I don't think that's what we needed for Luke. I feel like we just wanted to see Luke do more things. I don't think we needed that, but oh well.
As much as I love his honesty and even his lack of ego for letting Ryan do what he thought was best, and side note, killing it in a role he fundamentally disagreed with, using the fact that Hamill was upset doesn't really mean much to me. And I'm not going to say that you misunderstood the original trilogy if you came away thinking Luke was the optimistic center of the universe. We all took our own truths away from those films.
Right.
I think we can all agree that hope has been a main theme throughout Star Wars.
Yes.
Leia is always talking about it. It's Luke and the title of Episode 4, and now Rey and the Resistance are the physical embodiment of it. I think people were upset by who Luke became because he had lost his hope. But like I said in my Return of the Jedi video, even he was deceived in the end. Some of you disagree with my interpretation, but to me, Luke had to use the rage of the dark side to beat Darth Vader. He went up to and may have slightly crossed the line. The difference being that he turned back. But in that moment, he learned that the line between light and dark isn't as clear as it seemed.
Well, no, I do just disagree with that take. I really don't think Luke's rage should have been used in that scene. Because the point of that scene was that he shouldn't have been angry at Vader. He shouldn't have been lashing out at him. I mean, that's what I think. I'm pretty sure that was the point Lucas was trying to make. He shouldn't have been angry in that moment. And he should stay on the light, so, yeah.
He tried to regain his hope one more time when he took Ben Solo in, and once again chose a dark path for a split second, ironically seeing his robotic hand holding a lightsaber just like with his father, only this time it was too late to turn back. The damage was done. This time he'd already swung that killing blow as far as Kylo was concerned. And you really can't blame that on this film. That's where we were headed after Force Awakens. I felt confident predicting it, just like Master Oogway says. One often meets his destiny on the road he takes to avoid it. He nailed the coffin closed on Ben's dark side allegiance in that moment. So at that point, he decided the use of the Force was not a good thing and he cut himself off. That's why he has no clue what's going on in the galaxy. Luke went into exile because he thought the Jedi weren't helping anything, which, based on evidence and history...
1,000 years. Like, stop looking at just the prequels. The Jedi have been around for thousands of years before they were all killed. And they were doing perfectly fine that whole time. I'm just saying.
They weren't. It was a Sith who destroyed the Emperor while the Last Jedi was being sizzled for sticking to the light side. I know that's an obtuse interpretation, but also very literal. Hope was no longer a luxury Luke could have, and I can't blame him for that. He failed his sister, failed his brother-in-law and best friend, and in failing his nephew had created the new Darth Vader. If that's not a reason to sideline yourself, what is? But that's just the first 2 acts of the movie. After a chat with Yoda and the realization that Rey didn't need to be a Jedi in the sense that he'd accepted, Luke found hope again.
Okay.
Watching her ask the dark side for help as he once did reminded him he didn't need to be afraid of the Force. And he literally marches out to face the First Order with a lightsaber, knowing full well he's going to die. And by doing something so legendary, he sparks the hope that his physical form never could have done. He embodied that legend in a way that no one had before. I can't help but love that so much.
I guess I can understand that.
Really feel like anyone who says Luke should have actually shown up wasn't paying attention. He had a way bigger impact He had a way bigger impact as the legend than a physical being. He wouldn't have been able to do anything if he was really there. I guess the other option was Superman Luke? I just can't see a way in which Luke showing up and tearing guerrilla walkers apart with his mind works in this film. Once you make him Super Jedi, where do you go from there? That's never what Star Wars has been about. Don't get me wrong, Vader's complete ponage in that hallway is thrilling and I wouldn't trade it for anything, but that was less than what I've seen people expecting of Luke. Luke was never supposed to get God mode. He's always been a conflicted kid trying to do the right thing, but often going about it the wrong way. In the end, Luke gave up everything to embrace his legend status in a wholly unique way.
Okay, hold on. Luke was never supposed to be... He's always been a conflicted kid trying to do the right thing, but often going about it in the wrong way. Shouldn't he have gotten better at that, though? Shouldn't he have gotten better at doing that? I feel like he should have. Instead, to me, it feels like a regression.
But enough about Luke. He's not even really one of the main characters, but I felt like I needed to explain why I liked his portrayal in this film.
Okay.
One of the main themes in this film is failure. Almost every plan put in place has at least a piece that fails. Poe destroys the Dreadnought, but every bomber is destroyed. Rose and Finn find a code breaker, but he ends up selling the Resistance out. Holdo sends the transports to the planet, but a lot of them are destroyed and she has to die to save them. But through failure, each character grows and changes. Initially, Rey can't convince Luke to come back, essentially embraces the dark side only to get no answers, and then falls into Snoke's trap to then be betrayed by Kylo one last time. But through all that, she was finally able to let go of her past. The thing holding her back, this ever-present who am I and where do I come from? Which brings me to one of the most hated subversions.
You have no place in this story. You come from nothing. You're nothing.
I don't see the "you're nothing" message as some inclusionist propaganda. Here's why. When the first Star Wars was released, Luke was the son of a long-dead Jedi who some old guy spoke highly of. As far as he knew, his parents were nobodies, and soon even his adoptive aunt and uncle were dead. Luke was a nobody. Sure, he ended up being the son of the most powerful Jedi and Sith ever, but that's not where we started. Star Wars became a story of important bloodlines, but that's not what made us relate to Luke. He was just a moisture farmer who wanted to join the rebellion. I'm glad Rey is no one, because now we've circled back around to anyone can make a difference. The world has been opened back up. How can you hate that message?
I mean, sure, but at the same time, couldn't you have still, like, brought in more Jedi to help and make Rey a Skywalker and then train others? Like Finn, right there. Like, Finn could have been a Jedi. I feel like you could have had him, and then you could circle back to that. Anyone can be a Jedi by having Finn take that role. I don't know.
I've hit a lot of the main issues people had with the movie, but let's just knock a few out quick. I feel I need to offer rebuttals to the rest of them, not because my interpretation is the only correct one, but maybe to give those on the fence that feel swayed by the long list of issues some different options. Basically the same thing I did with the prequels.
Sure.
Spoiler alert, you're not dumb if these things didn't bother you, because a lot of them are nothing, or really don't matter. We already talked about why Holdo didn't owe Poe an explanation, just like in real life. Ask anyone in any branch of the military how Poe would have been treated for questioning a vice admiral the way he does. I get why it's annoying because it feels so convenient to the plot, but realistic and convenient are not mutually exclusive. And goodness, you have to squint to turn this into an anti-patriarchy message.
Okay, why do people do that? Like, come on.
Holdo could have been a talking porg and the story would have played out the same. Another big issue people have is that the Canto Bight side quest not only is a waste of time, but actually makes things worse.
I mean, it is, because, it literally adds nothing to the story.
First, that's the point. That's what this middle chapter is supposed to do. Plus, it was a learning moment for Poe about trusting leadership, and Finn for realizing that there's more going on in the galaxy than just, where's Rey?
I don't know. I feel like I feel like Finn should already know that, but oh well.
But more importantly, what annoys me is how some seem to completely ignore essentially the same thing happening in Empire. Leia, Han, Chewie, and 3PO go on their own save-the-world mission and get betrayed and captured, creating a situation where Luke has to abandon his training and then loses a hand. Bad plans failing badly has always been a huge part of Star Wars.
I don't know, but I feel like when it happened in Empire, it was actually character building. Like, it helped build Luke's character up. I don't see how it built up Finn or Rose. I don't know.
The other big subversion was Snoke. I genuinely loved when Kylo followed through with ending him. That was a great twist, and I'm really thankful he's out of the way. Although there are still ways to use him, and if JJ is clever enough, he could still make him important. But he needs to sort out Kylo first.
Yeah.
But without Kylo claiming his throne, I'd already seen this dynamic play out. I want something different.
Okay, I did hear a pretty cool interpretation about that whole thing, that somebody said that this could be a way of having Kylo be a better villain. Okay, maybe not better, but a more more evil villain than even Vader, because Kylo does the one thing that Vader could never do: overthrow his master. Well, yes, Vader did throw the Emperor into the reactor shaft, but he was doing that to save his son. He was doing it for the good. But meanwhile, Kylo kills Snoke just like that, in cold blood, and took his place as the leader of the Sith. And that could be a cool way of making Kylo a cooler villain, by having him take charge and then have him be the villain of Episode 9. Then that didn't happen, because of course then Episode 9 comes around and he just kind of serves Palpatine for most of that movie. And it's like, cool, that undoes that.
And I'm sorry, just because we live in the age of internet theorizing doesn't make the fact that characters' backstories aren't explored the filmmaker's problem. When Jedi ended and the Emperor was dead, how much did you know about him?
I already
Did it
said.
really matter, or was he just a foil?
Well, I already said why I don't agree with that.
I'm not saying this film doesn't have problems without perfect solutions. It's hard to explain why we've never seen anyone hyperspace ram another ship before, even if there has to be a first time for everything.
Yeah.
Though, like, off the top of my head, they could develop some kind of shield that's based off a hyperspace engine that creates a wormhole that will just make a lightspeed ship pass right by you. Lightspeed weapons aren't the end all. Someone could also very easily explain that the stars aligned just right, the distances were just perfect, and she really just hit a 1 in a million target that probably can't be repeated with any consistency. I know I'm fixing a genuine problem. My point is just that it doesn't have to break Star Wars. Someone just needs to break it in the other direction. I'll admit that the slow speed chase leaves a little to be desired. And I feel like there were solutions the First Order just ignored.
Yeah, like...
Send a destroyer ahead at light speed and then have them come back from the other side.
Yeah.
But who knows? Maybe it was just easier to wait them out. Why enter into a battle when you can just blow up a dead-in-the-water ship?
Which you could do by, again, sending a Star Destroyer in front of them, and I feel like that would be easier.
The intricacies of space travel and artificial gravity and every sci-fi part of this film have always been wonky.
They have been,
why
yes.
It's fantasy, not sci-fi.
Like, there have been a ton of moments I've seen in Star Wars universe when spaceships will be shot down. For some reason, they'll fall while in space, and it's like, that's not how it works. That's happened a lot in Star Wars. Like, space has never been scientifically accurate. Like, blasters, you hear them, and explosions aren't possible in space. So, like, yeah, I agree with that. Space has never been realistic in Star Wars. So.
What is the point of all this if we can't blow up 3 tiny cruisers?
So it really doesn't bother me.
Me neither.
It's just a framing device. And I think Hux is just arrogant enough to wait out the resistance anyway. What did he have to lose, really? They also could have made Holdo's reason for keeping the plan from Poe more apparent, and this could just have maybe been handled differently. Outside of a slow-speed chase, I will say that the obsession with fuel being the catalyst for the story is weird.
Is that a response to CinemaWins? I hope it is.
As if problems with ships have never come up before?
Right.
It's a running gag that Han couldn't engage the hyperdrive when he needed to.
Yeah.
R2 was always fixing shields. The Phantom Menace only ends up on Tatooine because of some part they needed.
Right.
Fuel is just another component of space travel. It
Right.
comes up in Rebels, and refueling is mentioned in the main series. I'm really trying not to be dismissive here, but some of these complaints make it hard. The real point I want to convey is that if you want to start picking apart Star Wars and you want to not be hypocritical about it, you need to go back to the beginning. Start with fundamentals. Things like, why would the gunner for these bombers need to be anywhere near the actual turret? He's in a giant glass ball outside of the ship. In that same vein, they can't remotely control these ships that are about to be destroyed? Or like, since it's out of fuel, just let it float until it stops? The reason is that it's established Star Wars lore. Decisions were made early on to look cool over being practical.
That's true, actually.
The shots made by the gunner on the bottom of the Falcon make absolutely no sense. The AT-ATs are like the dumbest version of tanks ever. They're on wobbly, way too tall legs, super slow, and their heads, where they shoot lasers from, barely move. They're vulnerable from every direction that isn't head-on. This isn't meant to ruin Star Wars for you. My point is that none of this crap matters.
I agree,
Hate The
yes.
Last Jedi because of tone and style and whatever else, but stop with the inconceivables.
Yes.
Lightsabers make no sense.
I agree with all of that, actually. Yeah, because I really don't like it when people like go that deep into why blah 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 doesn't make sense. Like no, like don't do that. Like criticize the movie for the writing. Just.
In addition to defending Kelly Marie Tran, I have nice things to say about Ryan. But first, I can't defend this.
Oh, yeah, yeah, why'd you do that, Ryan?
You basically tattooed "Please at me" on your forehead with that one, Ryan.
Yeah.
I don't find much evidence to support it, but there seems to be a general consensus that Ryan and Disney were dismissive of fans who didn't like the film and wrote all complaints off as anti-feminism or anti-inclusion. That's no good if it's true. At the same time, Ryan's human and allowed to have emotional responses when people attack his work, and obviously once his cast of friends are being attacked, all bets are off.
Yeah.
But everything I read and watched and listened to from Ryan shows me he really is a Star Wars fan who was trying to make the best movie he could to excite the fans. Maybe not please the fans, but he was trying to add to Star Wars rather than just rehash what we've already seen. So, thank you for that, Ryan.
Okay, yes. It's like some people say that Rian Johnson was intentionally trying to ruin Star Wars. Even me, as someone who doesn't like this movie, I don't think that. I do, I can tell this movie has a lot of passion, a lot of thought behind it. I really do think Rian Johnson, he wanted to tell the best story he could, what he thought was the best story. He thought this was what the movie should be, and most fans, of course, disagreed with him on that. And I guess I kind of respect him for doing his own thing, but at the same time, he should have thought about the fans a bit more.
And even though he was writer-director, you and I both know that every major decision had to be signed off on. And really, that's my biggest problem now that it's clear there was no plan from the beginning.
Yep. Yeah.
To be fair, there was no plan for the original trilogy, and that turned out fine.
There kind of was, maybe not as intricate as you would think, but Lucas did have an idea for the original trilogy that he ended up just deciding to split into 3 movies. Though he still changed his mind on a few things, but there was kind of a plan. With the sequel trilogy, though, I could really tell there was no plan. I still can't comprehend, why did Disney and Kathleen Kennedy allow Rian Johnson to kill Snoke? Why did they allow him to kill Snoke in the second movie when they would have needed him for the third movie? I can just imagine they're making episode 9 and they realize, shoot, we allowed Snoke to die. We allowed the main villain to die. Shoot, we shouldn't have allowed that. Bring back Palpatine. There we go. We dropped the ball there.
But JJ and Disney knew they were making a trilogy and had an opportunity to at least outline story beats, and they didn't.
Yeah.
They threw them out. There's conflicting information on that.
Maybe.
It's too hard to plan this out when you know a bunch of YouTubers are going to predict the whole thing. It's also interesting that everyone kind of glommed onto the bad guys commission.
Oh, actually, another thing too was that some people say maybe they should have had all 3 movies directed by the same guy. I actually don't necessarily believe that, because the original trilogy, each movie was directed by a different person. But the difference is that Lucas was still in charge of the writing. He was still overseeing the story for each film, even though he only directed the first one. They should have. I don't mind the idea of multiple directors doing a trilogy, but if you're going to do that, you could have at least had 1 or 2 guys or a couple guys through each movie telling the story and overlapping and making sure it all lines up. At least you could have had something like that. At least you could have had J.J. Abrams and Rian Johnson really communicating with each other, deciding, okay, this is a story we want to do. Let's make sure we don't ruin anything. They could have done something like that, but just watching these movies, it's so clear. It just really feels like they didn't. It feels like there was no communication at all.
Let the past die. Kill it if you have to.
Especially when he can't even do it himself. He thinks killing Daddy and Mommy and Uncle Lukey will do it.
Uncle
but that's
Lukey.
not how that works. And the fact that he's so obsessed with killing the past, a la allowing the skim speeder's approach by letting himself be tricked by his daddy's ship and then not noticing that Luke is a projection? Look, I give Luke a bunch of credit, but Kylo is an attuned Force user that could have sensed what was going on if he could just calm the Force down.
No, I do think he was emotionally distracted in that moment.
But he's more obsessed with the past than anything else. Ooh. And then let's look at the evidence. Rey keeps the Jedi texts, Luke embraces his own legend, even admits he was wrong about some stuff. Even the OG Master comes back and teaches Luke some stuff about failure.
Failure, most of all. The greatest teacher. Failure is. We are what they grow beyond. That is
the true burden of all masters.
That was supposed to be the takeaway, not
the Sith, the Jedi, the rebels. Let it all die.
Realize that failure is the best teacher, to learn from your mistakes and be better next time. Luke finally gets it. And Luke specifically wasn't killed, if you have to. He chose how he went out and it was peaceful just like Yoda. Kylo wasn't even able to kill that piece of his past. But we do have to move forward. Letting the past die can be painful. But does anyone want Mark Hamill to carry every trilogy for the next 200 years? Do you think he wants to do that? Do you think he can? I'm going to stop asking rhetorical questions because I know that you don't want to see this trilogy play out the same way as the original trilogy. Of course you don't.
Of course.
But that's where we were headed. We don't need Kenobi, Skywalker, and Solo stories forever. It doesn't take a genius to see the Emperor, Luke, and Vader stand-ins. This story could have played out exactly the same. Instead, Ryan changed it. He subverted your expectations, just maybe not in the way you were expecting. I don't know. The way people hate this movie makes me feel like I can't possibly be a real Star Wars fan. It's hard for me to understand because this is what I was expecting.
Really?
Luke walked up to the dark side, took a step over to beat his dad, and then when the evilest bro in the universe yelled from the freaking far end of the dark side that he should join him, he was like, yeah, nah, I'm good. Good. So yeah, Luke doesn't buy into his own status, his own legend. That makes narrative sense to me. And I'm sorry, but I'm thankful he wasn't super optimistic and chipper. He was never like that anyway. So I guess I still just don't get the problem.
I mean, he was. I don't know. I feel like he was optimistic a lot.
Whiny, then he's sad for a bit. He has some fun with new friends. Then he's sad again. Then he's this. And this is the exact character that carried over to The Last Jedi for me. He's not just like back to normal after watching his dad die after he saved his life and then almost killing his nephew because of his adherence to the light, ironically. Dude goes into exile, wants to be left alone. That makes sense. I never thought I'd have to double down on some stuff I said in my prequels videos, but it is okay to like this movie. Some really intelligent people like this movie. You're not dumb, you're not a real fan, nor are you just a fanboy. And there are also intelligent people who really dislike this film. Neither side is right, neither side is wrong.
Right, agreed.
Well, I've been defending and talking so much about the themes I've neglected.
Hold on, what?
I've been defending and...
Han says hi? Is that what it says? Oh, there's a smiley face there for some reason.
Talking so much about the themes, I've neglected so many of the little amazing details like the beautiful wide shots and lighting, the score, the performances. You can't even compare Hamill's performance in this film to the original trilogy because he's on another level.
Yeah.
Adam Driver continues to carry us along, and I really can't wait to see what they do with him next. He wanted to tear it all down, so he should be doing something completely different from Snoke or the Emperor or even the Jedi. I'm genuinely excited for Episode 9 because there's a story there and I really don't know what it's going to be. That's sort of exciting. There's barely much to theorize about. The slate is nearly clean. I don't know. I've been accused of being too optimistic. We'll see.
I mean, the slate is nearly clean. I mean, that's part of the problem with Episode 9, I would say. The slate was too clean because I feel like with Episode 9 they really struggled to figure out what story they should tell, and then they were just like bring Palpatine back, there we go, that's the story, because it just feels so like out of left field. It feels
longest conclusion ever.
Yeah.
If you made it this far, enough time has passed that I bet if you go back to look at the polls, you'll see that the you either hate it or you love it narrative is a little overblown. Just something to keep in mind. Next week, something way less divisive. Godspeed, Rebels.
Yeah, I think that's Return of the King. Total win score. Woo, we made it! Oh boy, that was long. I wasn't sure how much energetic I could keep, but we made it, guys. 212. Award. The one thing Chewie needed. Yeah, eat that porg, dude. That porg looks delicious. Man, that was long, and I thought this video would be longer, honestly, but yeah. Whew, we made it. Thank you guys for watching, and make sure the comments are civil, please. Please don't get angry, please. Let's be civil about this movie, because, yep, I know it can get angry. I might have gotten a bit angry in this too, but I hope I gave off the impression I was trying to be civil and just explain my own perspective. So, yeah. That's The Last Jedi, and one more Star Wars movie left. So, peace!